Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Finally getting some nice sunny weather here in Phuket. So it's a nice chance to look across the Andaman Sea from Surin Beach here and just talk about what we are actually seeing and mention some points about perspective. Yeah, of course we are told that we live on a globe and that what we see in front of us at the horizon is because the Earth is curving away from us. But there are so many things that you can notice about what we're actually seeing here that really tell you that's completely false. It's just kind of one of those explanations that goes with the globe Earth model that really doesn't make any sense to our senses. For a start, we can see perspective at play. The horizon is always at eye level, yeah, whether no matter how high or low you go, and looking straight across a flat surface, our eyes will tell us that it's flat because the horizon, the surface and the sky appear to meet in the middle. Yeah, that's just the way it is. And of course, the further we see, we can maybe see, let's say we can see 10 miles into the distance here. Actually, we are told if we're only at this height, the horizon is only 3, 4, maybe 5 miles away. But that's just ridiculous. I mean, we can see much further than that. I mean, just look at the clouds. They are quite far away. But so, of course, the further we see into the distance, the more condensed everything becomes. Yeah, I mean, perspective just does that, doesn't it? As you know, so from here, the field of view expands, but the perspective also narrows as we go off into the distance. So we know that just even this short distance that we see in our field of view. In the distance is actually could be several miles. Yeah, so you just look across here, and if we go all the way across that stretch of horizon, and we're thinking about the distance across that in the distance, it's probably it could be something up to 100 miles across. Yeah. But of course we do not ever see any curvature. We're just given excuses and told that you can only see curvature in front of you even though we're supposed to be on a ball. And this is just because the globe Earth is pictured with us looking into a curve, looking into this bulge. Yeah. In fact, if it was a bulge, you wouldn't get so much of a rise to the horizon. Our eyes tell us that it's flat. We know it's flat because that's what perspective does. Across a flat surface, it makes it appear to rise up to our eye level. And of course those clouds in the distance appear to be touching the horizon, but we know that if we actually got closer to them, then they would get much higher in the sky. So this is not the clouds going around some kind of imaginary curve. This is just what we see in the distance as everything becomes compressed in the distance. And so the clouds appear to be much closer to the horizon, but they are actually probably just at the same height as these clouds above us here, which are very high up. We just see them because everything's getting compressed in our field of view. Yeah, another thing to notice is that you know, these waves breaking here are quite large, and of course the further out you get, the larger waves become generally. But you can't see that because it just kind of blends into the view that we're seeing. So, and it all looks very smooth. But out there's probably waves that might be several meters high. We just can't see them. Likewise, a boat could be going across the horizon there, and we wouldn't see that it was going up and down. It would look pretty smooth. It would just be a dot on the horizon. Yeah, so these are all things you can think about when you look at the horizon and realize that perspective is the imaginary curve. We're told to ignore perspective, or perspective is replaced with this imaginary curve in the descriptions and illustrations and explanations that are made to force fit the idea that we're on a globe. So it's just ridiculous, really. Once you really take a look. I mean, if there is no way that if we weren't told repeatedly since we were kids that boats going off into the distance are going over a curve or something, or that we see a sunset because the Earth is rolling around. We would never ever even think that unless we had been repeatedly told. It's just ridiculous. It's just again a kind of an explanation to explain away what we see and interpret what we see as being on a globe, and we're not. It's obvious. It's all flat. Yeah. There's just no way anyone will ever be able to measure any curvature across the surface of this Earth, because there is none. Yeah. It's really, really simple. So you know, get out there and look for yourself. Test it. I mean, there's people arguing on my channel that have possibly been watching it for several years and still asking for proof that the horizon rises to eye level. You can go out and check that yourself anytime. Now, this whole argument that when you gain height the horizon drops is ridiculous, because what it really is when we're at this low level we get a very clearly defined horizon, and this is mainly due to the angle of incidence of reflected light coming back at us. You can go very, very high above the horizon, above the Earth, and the horizon will remain at eye level as long as you're looking directly ahead, horizontally. But of course, what happens is the horizon becomes less defined, less clear, because obviously the higher you get, the more clouds and things you are seeing converge at the horizon. So it just becomes blurry. And then there's even, you know, people trying to convince you that if you're on a plane looking out, your eye level is somehow something to do with the wingtip. That's just ridiculous. Your eye level is where you are looking straight ahead. And if you're looking across a flat surface and you are looking straight ahead horizontally or parallel to that surface, you will see the surface appear to rise to eye level. You will see everything meet in the middle of your field of view. That's just the way it is. So these ridiculous diversion tactics by people who are desperate to cling onto the globe and have others cling onto it with them is just desperation. And all will become clear if you just let go of that and, yes, trust your senses, because it is your senses that tell you that we are living on a flat and motionless Earth as far as we can tell. Yeah? Look at this guy here. The horizon appears to be higher than his head. But we know it's not. We know we know the water isn't, we're not looking into a bulge, yeah? As he goes off down the beach, then he appears lower and lower to the horizon, yeah? It's just the way it is, because the horizon rises up to eye level, yeah? Really simple stuff, okay? Trust your senses, allow yourself to see things the way they really are, yeah? Thank you very much.